Hey, welcome to Nerds of the Old Republic, the podcast where we drink and discuss nerdy fiction, and where the bell means points, but points mean nothing. I'm Adam.
I am Sean.
And I'm Mike.
Today we're discussing the 2014 Alex Garlander film, Ex Machina, starring Oscar Isaac and Alicia Vikander. But first, we want to thank our growing community of listeners and followers on social media, and a special thanks to the listening community at GoodPods, where we are still ranking highly among similar podcasts like Books and Hobbies. Our thanks to the listeners who have posted reviews on Apple Podcasts. If you enjoy our show and the topics we discuss, please consider giving us a rating and reviewing us. It's a huge help. And be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle is @NerdsOfOldRepublic. If you want to hear what we think about many other nerd-centric topics, don't forget to check out our More Than Just Books blog on Podbean. Mike was just saying in the last episode that he had just written up Desperado as a, quote, good bad movie. So if you want to hear his thoughts on that, give it a look. And if you know Desperado, or is the sequel Once Upon a Time in Mexico?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Feel free to check that out and then leave us some thoughts either on Podbean or on any of the socials. We're, again, at Nerds of the Old Republic.
But tonight we're talking about a good movie.
Yeah, I think we already know where we all stand on this one. But that's all right. We also wanted... Oh.
No, I was about to say, hated it.
Oh, hater second night in a row. No. We also wanted to let our listeners know that this episode, we think right now, marks the end of Season 2 of Nerds of the Old Republic. That's right. We'll be taking a little break for the summer so we can kind of do our own thing and read up on our next book. Oh my gosh. I'm excited but also super friggin' intimidated by Neil Stephenson's Termination Shock. So we'll be back with Season 3 in the fall with our discussion of a couple big events, that book that I just talked about, and of course, the latest entry in Star Wars universe, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ben, as we call him in my house. So look forward to that, but we might be sneaking an extra one in there. We're kind of on the fence about what we're doing because, you know, you can't keep an old dog down.
Depends on how well these Jennies go down.
Yeah, so that's a great intro. If you've never listened to us before, we always pair our nerd fiction or nerd media with a beverage, and tonight we have nothing less than Rochester's own Genesee Light, courtesy of Mr. Mike. And I am so grateful here. I am not kidding when I say that this is 16 ounces that I'm looking forward to enjoying right now.
It's a pounder.
I am so glad. You know, this Jenny is what we used to drink in high school. For that reason, I don't think I've drank it since high school.
Yeah.
And
when I was a young man, I used to drink young man drinks, but now that I'm an old man.
But, you know, I was explaining in our last episode that I go back and forth between being really into good beer and then just totally rebelling against it and drinking shit beer. And Adam dropped my jaw by informing me that Jenny is not considered shit beer right now. It's considered quite cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say, whoa, man. Whoa with your shit beer takes.
Yeah. Every bar in Buffalo now that's like, I'm a beer cave / craft beer on tap takeover has Jenny.
Well,
hands down.
You know, so 2 points. It's become the new Pabst, and that's the lesser point. The bigger point is I apparently am even more effortlessly cool than I thought, and I already thought
you're like subconsciously cool, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sean agrees.
Yeah.
That's a yes. I heard that.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. So we have this tradition in my family where when someone passes, after all the serious funeral stuff is done, you go to a bar or someone goes and makes a beer run or a liquor run, and you drink what they drank and enjoyed in life. And so when my wife's grandfather passed, he used to drink Jenny, specifically in the hand grenades. So somebody went out and found 2 24-pack boxes. I didn't even know that was a number you could buy beer in. Like, maybe they went to the brewery itself in Rochester and came back with these things. But we just downed Jenny hand grenades, which is like standard Genesee beer in a glass bottle shaped like a hand grenade. And I got so sick the next day from 3 beers because it's made proudly from the Genesee River, which God knows. I don't know what's in there, but Genesee, you make fantastic beer.
Cold.
Don't stop it.
Full of Central New York vitamins and minerals.
That's right. Cold, clean, crisp water comes from the Genesee River.
Sparked with some isotopes over from Oswego.
Stuff that came out of Mike's sump pump.
Oh, yeah. It's only
Yeah.
the best.
But I agree with your take, though, that it's kind of overtaken PBR or Pabst Blue Ribbon as, like, the hipster beer, which is a shame because I just bought a shit ton of stock in PBR.
One of my best friends, his favorite beer, his go-to beer is Jenny Cream Ale.
I can't. Literally can't.
It is an experience. Drink a couple of those, and you're like, oh boy.
It's a laxative.
These things are so post-ironic, though. People start drinking them at first to be ironic, and then they realize they actually like them, and it becomes a legitimate thing.
But you can't shake the ironic look when you buy it.
I agree.
Yeah.
You say shit beer, and it's like a tongue-in-cheek kind of like thing. 'Cause it's just mass-produced beer, but there's a time and a place for mass beer too, man.
Oh, totally.
I agree. That's
My
why
fridge is
I
filled
brought
with
it.
PBR.
Mine has what did I say was? Oh, I have Coors Banquet. I've got the Sam Elliott beer right now.
I have Mick Ultra at home right now. There was
Wow.
an 18-pack on sale, and I went for it.
I'm learning new things about you guys. That's okay. As I said, PBR is literally my beer fridge
It's
right
like
now.
we said recently, we do a little bit of high, a little bit of low.
That's right. I thought you brought the Genesee just because you spent so much money on that rum for Moonwitch Spider King. That rum was expensive. It was delicious, but I cannot imagine it being cheap.
That was good, yeah. But no, this was because I spent all my money on the charcuterie tonight.
But
Yeah,
are you
let's
guys
open
ready?
this.
Let's
Yep.
just do this. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Well timed.
that was well done. Now,
Cheers.
well, you gotta get the
Cheers.
nose.
Smell rice.
Smells like high school.
Aw. And I smell a burning river. Yeah, that's just
we know
fine.
of.
That's fine. I could do. That's like I just came in from mowing the lawn. It's hot. I need a beer.
1878.
Well, Adam told his very nice and sentimental Jenny story, so I will completely ruin that by telling my Jenny story. So this was a high school story, and we were in the middle of the woods drinking, and we were trying to have a campfire at the same time. And we had a tank of gasoline for like a lawnmower to get this fire going because that's how you start a fire.
Especially as a high school student, yeah.
And so, several Jennies deep, I thought the fire needed to be a little bigger, a little warmer, so I started pouring the gasoline over the fire, and then it occurred to me that the fire would actually climb the string and light the end of the gas tank on fire. And the Jenny hadn't slowed my brain so much at this point that I didn't realize that this thing could explode in my hand. So that was good. What was bad was it had slowed my brain enough that I thought I could just chuck it away from myself. And so it sprayed gas, and all the trees in front of us were momentarily burning. And I was panicking. I was not the hero in this situation. No. I created the situation, and then I fucking lost my mind. Luckily, we had a more woods-savvy friend with us at the time that assured us the gas would burn and then the fire would go out. And that is what happened, and that is why I'm here with you gentlemen today to do this podcast.
I'm grateful for that stuff.
And you have your eyebrows, so
Yes. I still do. And they're very fine and bushy and thick. And
luscious eyebrows Mike's got going on there.
Damn, dude.
Wow. I love that we have Jenny stories, to be honest.
we'll save Sean's for later in the cast.
Yeah, that's exactly how you know it.
I gotta manufacture something.
Oh, all right. Well, you know what? Don't worry about it, because we can move on from here. So, we got the Jenny.
Oh, I got it right up there.
You got
Oh, damn.
You got a can.
It's a
Go
Jenny
ahead.
Light World War I era biplane fighter.
Oh, that's going up on Twitter, man. Don't let me forget
That's
to take
the
a picture
for
of that.
tonight. Yeah.
My grandfather had those, so he was the.
Wow.
You see, like the flag there. He was the World War II veteran, and he had these things. Somebody at this local gin mill made. My grandfather drank Jenny.
You guys have such good stories with Jenny, and I tried to burn the forest down.
Coming to it at different times.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I was that kid who didn't drink during high school. So, because I was never invited to parties. No, I just, I was a straight-laced kid who never did. So, like, when I hear your stories of, like, oh, I did this thing, the other thing, I'm like, oh, that's what cool kids did during high school. All right, hard transition then. All right, so I can't say that I had any personal background with Ex Machina. I was aware of it, but hadn't watched it until we decided to make it the cast. But I think it falls into a long line of movies that I really enjoy. Obviously, I like sci-fi. And I think the idea of, like, AI and how humans are going to have to exist with AI is a thing that I really enjoy. Like, there was that movie Her a while ago that was similar in that it was a man falling in love with his phone's AI.
Oh.
So it was conversational based. and I almost think that was
Joaquin Phoenix in that.
Joaquin Phoenix, and maybe Scarlett Johansson was the voice of the AI. I think that he fell in love with.
He's got a sexy voice.
Yeah, no, it really just falls in line with other movies that I really enjoy, like techno thrillers about like human and like opening that Pandora's box of what can we do, should we do it, sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys?
My history with this movie is that I think this movie's been out for, 6, maybe 7 years now or something?
Yeah, about 7.
And for that entirety of that, more than half a decade, I have wanted to see this movie. It has been on my short list of movies to watch. Somehow that has not happened. I have no idea why. I have somehow not seen it, but wanted to very badly. And I do know that the director directed another film called Annihilation, which I loved, and which is based on a Jeff Vandermeer book, which is actually a trilogy of books.
Good lineage there.
And I hadn't read the book Annihilation, but I read another book by that author, which is really good. So anyways, that's as far as my background goes with it. I was looking forward to it very much for this cast because I've wanted to see it for a while.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys, if I'm my coughing in the background. This Jenny is not going down easy.
Aw, because it's not the cream ale.
That's the problem.
That's all right.
I saw this movie close to when it was released. Loved it then. Loved it even more the second time. I am just an Oscar Isaac fanboy, and Alicia Vikander I think is fantastic in this. Alex Garland
I got a lot of things to say about
writer,
them.
Director. I found out about it from one of these nerdy websites I frequent, and they spoke very highly of it. Had to see it myself, and just was awesome. It was amazing. It was awesome.
So just to kind of fill in a little bit of background around that, I think we did a good job so far talking about what it is. So directed by Alex Garland, who wrote The Beach, 28 Days Later, which is my second favorite zombie apocalypse film of all time. So in good company there. And Annihilation, among other things. We've kind of alluded to it, but the film is about the Turing test, which is the test created by Alan Turing to see if we finally created an artificial intelligence accurately enough, I guess, or correctly enough.
Not just a simulation.
It's not just a simulation that it actually passes for being consciousness when a human doesn't know they're talking to a computer, essentially.
Right.
Is the easy take on it. And there's a lot of questions about, like, is this thing simulating feelings? Is this thing simulating emotions and conversation and that sort of thing? So there's a lot there in the movie about that. What did you think of Alicia Vikander's take on artificial intelligence as the actress who had to be on screen but also interact with like the special effects that she knew they were using to make her, if you haven't seen it, a good third of her body, 2/3 of her body for most of the film is special effects.
Yeah.
And it's really just her face acting in the movie.
I thought she did great. I thought everybody in the movie did great. I mean, there's really only a few actors and actresses, and I thought they all nailed their performance. She did a great job. She reminded me a little bit of first season of Westworld. You guys know who I'm talking about?
Evan Rachel Wood?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yes.
Which is also AI, and that's not the connection I was trying to make. But like her sitting there and like trying to convey, you know, both machine and man, so to speak, right? Like, there's like the human characteristics, but the not quite human. There's enough there that you know that you're talking to a computer. And I thought that as I was watching this movie, I was thinking of that character from Westworld. I thought it was reminiscent of that. But I thought it was great. I thought she did a really nice job.
Yeah, you know what's funny, because having seen it twice now, and the first time it's like you're kind of led on that journey of figuring out that she is not what she pretends to be. And I don't want to spoil her or anything. What the hell? But like the end of it, you realize
Really happens in the last 5 minutes.
Right. She's not human. She's not trying to be a human AI. She is her own thing. And I think she does a fantastic job knowing the complete story of subtly portraying this character that is like trying to be this sort of like empathetic, sex appeal, kind of like all that stuff. Extremely complicated. And yet at the same time, there's that alien undertone of like, no, something is not right there. There's something bizarre about her. Keep your eyes open, both eyes, all the time, because something's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. She's so subtle as an actress in that regard. I really thought she was great.
And to your point, there's that one point there's the one part in the movie where it's already well established that Oscar Isaac is like the quote unquote bad guy here, right? But when he says something to the effect of like, you know, oh no, she really likes you. Unless, of course, she's pretending to like you.
Yeah. There's a third
because
option.
she sees you. And when he says that, you know, it doesn't come across as like, well, that's just the bad guy bullshitting because of all the stuff you just said, Sean. You're like, no, he's probably right.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac is definitely, man, he is so good in this.
Yeah, he's outstanding.
I don't think I've seen him in a bad thing.
No, he's
Literally.
Very good.
We'll talk about that later.
But that is qualified with I've seen him in 2 films.
Okay. You haven't seen X-Men then? Apocalypse.
Oh, fuck. No, I
Sorry.
haven't seen Apocalypse.
Anyway,
no, I
he's-
purposely not.
He's fucking great. And then just to see him like play this, like you said, like the bad guy figure, but in the end you realize it's like, is he really a bad guy or just like he's a Silicon Valley dude, bro?
I was going to say tech bro.
Yeah, but like he's a genius that just he's operating on such a different level, and he got it the whole time. He knew what was going on, and he got shanked for it. Mm-hmm. Like that. Can we just talk about that part where like, okay, where what's the name of the robot? What's her name?
The one that you think is a human the whole time?
No. What's Alicia Vikander's
Ava.
character? Ava. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Where she just like she sticks the knife in him, and it's not like
my
a human
God, yeah.
doing it.
No.
It's like she's going to carve a cake.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like.
Right.
Like she just like it's like she's testing it out. It's like
Right.
but she's killing him.
Right.
But she's
Yeah.
doing it in this
So-
way that's like whoa.
So clinically, so detached, yeah.
Yeah, and it so I was watching it on my iPad with headphones on because my wife and son were watching like a HGTV show or something next to me, and I had to finish like the last 10 minutes while I was cooking. This was my second go through. I told Sean, like, you know, I watched it early on because I was excited to watch it after we announced it, and then I really didn't feel like I remembered it very well, so I watched it again, and I finished it for the second time this afternoon, and I literally went, oh!
yeah.
as that happens because it's so clinical,
Yeah.
and the knife goes in an unworldly way.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know if it's
Twice.
twice. He gets stabbed in the back, and then he gets stabbed just shy of the heart.
Yeah.
It's clear she doesn't intentionally, or it's clear she intentionally misses the heart.
When she leaves the knife in him, he
Yeah.
just walks away going like, okay, and then he's like
you
collapses.
think he's gonna make it away.
Oh,
I mean, we're jumping the shark a little bit here in like the whole story, but just for a quick summary. So Oscar Isaac is this tech bro who owns a search company, a search engine company.
Basically, he's the Google founder.
He's the
pretty
Google,
much,
yeah. He's one of the Google founders essentially, and he invites one of his employees to his house for a week, pretending that it is a lottery that he won. But really, he's there to do the Turing test to be the human component to an AI robot that he's made. And so obviously it doesn't go well because no AI in sci-fi goes well ever, and that's kind of where we're at with Oscar Isaac getting stabbed twice over. And
Well, he gets like the
that sort of thing.
horror of it's the guy Domhnall Gleeson
Yeah.
plays the hapless dude.
And also the First Order. I don't know his title in the First Order.
He's
but
actually that guy is one of those actors that, you know, most people don't know his name, but he is in a lot of
don't.
stuff. Like if you look up his filmography,
Peter Rabbit. He's
See,
in
I didn't
Peter
even know
Rabbit.
that. That's one more thing that he's in. Then
Isn't he in Harry Potter too?
He looks like he's in Harry Potter. He looks like one of the Weasley kids,
I think
but
he might be one of the older Weasley kids or something. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Those were actual twins, though, so I don't know.
You know, but like there's the other brothers too. Anyway.
Oh yeah, maybe.
He's, he was in the First Order in Star Wars. He's all these things, and he does a really good job of playing like the nerdy programmer guy. I don't know where the hell I was going with that. What was your point?
I was just gonna say. So we would talked about
Yeah,
the
that was
scene summary.
So he has that realization where there's like that horror moment where like Ava is like the 5th or 6th generation of
Yeah.
AI that Oscar Isaac's character has created.
Just open up all the other closets, and there's like half mangled AI bodies in
and
there.
he sees the video of the one like ripping her arms off, and she's trying to escape and punching the glass, and the one that they find out she's not human, not Miyoki, what the hell's her name?
Oh,
She's like the server,
yeah,
right? The
she
dancer,
is, but I can't remember her name right now.
yeah, and she's just like,
And like essentially the sex
concubine,
slave, yeah.
pretty much. But she's like a dumb AI, but she was one of the others, and it's that moment of like horrific realization he has, but then you never realize he's playing right into the the plan of Ava. It's just so many levels. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am apparently the only one here who's not seen it twice now, and
What are you waiting for?
Come on, Mike.
I do want to see it again because the first time watching it, there was sort of all these little like dog ears that I was doing because I'm like, that's a really interesting conversation. I don't have time to think about it right now because I'm paying attention to the plot and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But there's so much fascinating stuff here where he's talking about like, can you have intelligence without sexuality, like
that was a big
whole conversation, or like the whole thing with is it Jackson Pollock art that they talk about, and where does like intention and spontaneity meet, and there's so many fascinating conversations there that you don't really have time to dwell on the first time because you're so focused on what's happening in the plot. And I want to go back and like really dwell on more of the philosophical aspects. And
oh, for sure.
The Jackson Pollock thing was really cool.
yeah.
Yeah. There was that whole moment where Oscar Isaac says, what would Pollock have done if he had thought about every brushstroke?
Yeah.
And
Right.
Domhnall Gleeson?
Yeah.
Says he wouldn't have done anything. He couldn't have done anything.
Yeah.
So it's like intentionality versus like subconscious acting. And I thought that was really, really important to the plot later on because you're thinking about whether or not Ava is intentionally using subterfuge to like confuse Domhnall Gleeson's character, or is she tricking Oscar Isaac's character? Like, who is she playing here? And it's only because I read the fucking Rotten Tomato review when I used my free stars pass to watch it, and Rotten Tomatoes was right below it about like how it's Ava can be more deceptive than she seems at first glance. I'm like, oh fuck, thanks, fine, but it really, you're right. Like, I've watched movies where I've stopped, like Ghostbusters. When we did the Ghostbuster rewatch, I stopped, I took notes. I didn't want to do that because I wanted to enjoy the movement of the film. Yeah. But it really demands, it insists upon itself to be like discussed nearly shot by shot, really.
Yeah. I mean, because we're sitting here talking about some of the ideas, and we're talking about the acting, and we haven't even gotten into like the cinematography and the style of the thing. When we get there, yeah, because I mean, there's so much to talk about there too. I mean, this is a near perfect film. I mean, maybe even perfect. I'm not sure that I saw anything in this film that I would say is a flaw. I thought cinematography, directing, acting, the style, the ideas, the plot, even the ending. I'm sure we'll talk about the ending at some point. I was a big fan of it. It was a very, very good film.
Which is to say, that's exactly why it only grossed $35 million and cost $15 to make.
Yeah,
it made zero money essentially.
That sucks because it's so good. It's like
I agree with you. It is airtight.
I love the you mentioned the cinematography. I love the juxtaposition between the ultra realistic, or not ultra realistic, but the ultra like futuristic bunker / lab Frankenstein thing. Research. It was so state of the art, and then this beautiful like Patagonian wilderness all around them, and I'm like, oh my god! And these moments where they're just like out there being dude bros, like by a waterfall.
By the waterfall.
Right? And then the next thing you know, they're in like this super like airtight like room with this robot thing. And it's like,
with 3-inch plexiglass all over the place.
Yeah, such like awesome, just like I said, just awesome artistic juxtaposition. Damn you drinking.
Damn you, Genesee, and 2 other podcasts. Yeah. It has been a awesome night, but it's also been a very busy night for us. So actually that leads to the next question that Sean had brought up. Did you get some serious Stanley Kubrick vibes from this film in terms of the direction and maybe even the art style?
Yeah. Stanley Kubrick, I think, maybe takes his time more. Whereas,
I did fall asleep during 2001. Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest about it.
But this film was very what's the word I'm looking for here? It moved along very well. It was a very tight film.
I agree.
But it definitely, in the way that Kubrick had of using a little bit of information to convey a sense of like, you know, whatever he was trying to convey, whether it was dread or epicness or whatever, horror, if it's like Full Metal Jacket or The Shining. You know, I would say, yeah, I could get down with the Kubrick influence. I'm not going to say I would have thought of that on my own, but I can see it.
I think one of the things that I think of a lot when I think of Kubrick are these long shots that start wide and then slowly get into medium. And those are the shots that we didn't get in this film, but I think that was partially because of the environment. I mean, we're in a bunker.
Right.
And really, we're essentially in 3 rooms in the bunker. We're in that one patio, we're in Domhnall Gleeson's room, and we're in Ava's room. We get a little bit of Oscar Isaac's room later on when he steals the key card and goes in and swipes in and sees the other models.
Yeah.
But there's really not much, so it would be hard in a set that's designed, I think, to give you a feeling of claustrophobia from Ava's perspective, to have those kinds of shots.
Right.
Even though you have the wilderness outside, where you could literally start from the waterfall and slowly just bring it into the research center and down into the one little window outside that they have.
Yeah, I think the meticulous design of the bunker house thing, though, and the lighting and the use of straight line and things like that is very Kubrick-esque. Like, there's a lot of that.
The red light was very reminiscent, I think.
The aesthetic reminded me a lot of 2001 or Shining, or things that like just have that like Kubrick stamp. And it's not. It's like I don't want to say it's like an homage or anything like that.
No, probably not.
It's more of like there's some influence there, and it's not like he's trying to be Stanley Kubrick or something. But I thought it was that influence was there. I could see it.
But and I had another thought as you were talking about the space and especially the natural landscape, and you had mentioned claustrophobia. That's another connection to 2001, where they're literally in space.
In the space station.
But that doesn't give it a sense of... It does give it a sense of hugeness and scale, but it also increases the claustrophobia because there's nothing for them to do with that space. They can't walk out in it and go anywhere, right? And that kind of adds to, like, they're in a bunker, and that bunker is surrounded by a natural landscape that's so big that they were in the helicopter for 2 hours. And the guy made that crack in the beginning, like, we've been on the estate for 2 hours. Yeah. Like, that's how big that is, and that there's nothing there, right? Yeah. So even if he gets out of that house, you know, as is his plan, and he's got her, like, where's he going to go? So in an ironic way, that sense of scale, just like 2001, also increases the sense of being entrapped in your little space.
Should we talk about the ending before we do the other thing?
Yeah, we definitely
should.
We
can. We have to talk about the ending. I don't think we can have this podcast without it.
I think it's haunting because you think, of course, it leads you to believe that she's going to take Domhnall Gleeson's character with her.
Yeah.
Because they're in love. But no, she fucking played him just like Oscar Isaac said.
I love that.
And just leaves him to die after she, like, and it's this weird moment of, like, her putting on her skin.
That was the eeriest moment for me.
Yeah.
And because you're watching her pick apart other AI robots that are deactivated, she's choosing from them what she wants. And in the back of your head, you're like, is she doing this for Domhnall Gleeson? And then you're like, no, she's not doing this for him. She's doing this for her to get out and to look human. So until she gets to, like, walking out and he starts calling to her and she ignores him, you're left to see, like, that moment of suspense, like, what's she going to do? Is she going to go back to him? Because I found this really interesting shot where Domhnall Gleeson is staring through that one little bit of, like, outdoors that she has, like she was.
Yeah.
And there's this complete role reversal, as you would expect, really, in this moment, where he's trapped. He doesn't know it, but we know it as the viewer because he's doing what she did. Right. He's longingly staring through that little bit of forest at the world outside, and she's leaving.
What I loved about this ending was the ambiguous feelings that I had, the almost contradicting feelings that I had watching it. Because there's the part of you that's, like, cheering for her.
Sure.
Like, she's gotten out. She's overthrown
because
her
she's
captor.
a victim of abuse and,
right. I mean, and she's basically, from her perspective, she's killed God, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the ultimate act of, like, autonomy.
Yeah.
And
a number of times they quote that, was it Oppenheimer
Right.
Now I've become God. I'm the
Right.
destroyer world.
Well, and he makes that.
Quotable.
Yeah, he makes that joke in the beginning where he misquotes him as saying, like, then you said I was God. But anyway, so she kills God. She escapes her prison. She goes and, freed of her chains, does the thing with the skin where she literally builds herself. Like, it's a self-actualization moment. She designs herself. And she gets out, and she doesn't take him with her, which is another way of being like, that's great. Like, she doesn't need him. She wasn't doing this for love. She was doing it for herself. I love all that. I love, like, the way it circled back to that thing about, like, she was going to walk out and see remember that story he told about, like, the black and white screen, and then you see the blue sky, and she actually sees that. She goes to the busy intersection. She sees people. But the flip side of all of that is like, oh, fuck, this is AI. And she just outwitted all of these humans.
Character out in the wild.
Right.
For smart humans.
She just outwitted all of them. And she's so cold and calculating that she does not mind murdering the one dude casually and leaving the other dude to die. Yeah. And now she is loose upon the world. Yeah. And those two feelings are in your head at the same time as you watch this ending. I loved that. I thought that was just brilliant.
There's also the deconstruction of the sexuality of the robot, too. They had her standing there naked.
Really complex feelings.
But it's like, you don't feel like at all like, oh, that's tantalizing. You're like, no, this is fucking terrifying.
Right. Yeah.
It's like Frankenstein. It's like,
with much more self-awareness and possibility to make themselves hide.
Apparently, there's that part where she's talking to the helicopter pilot, and you can see her talking to him, and he's talking, but you can't hear what they're
there's
saying.
no sound.
I guess there was a cut that they made where they go to her perspective, and all she hears is like sound waves, like, and you're supposed to get this impression that, like, she doesn't perceive anything the way you think she does. It's all based on just like whatever patterns and things like that she's been programmed to understand. So it's not like human emotional inflection or anything. Right. It's just pure sound.
Well, that was another one of those interesting conversations they had along the way about, like, you know, no matter how genuine it appears, is it a genuine feeling, or is it just a perfect simulation of a feeling?
And you never know if she passes the test for real or not.
Right.
You really don't know.
I think she passes.
You think so?
Well, I mean, if nothing else, she fooled the helicopter pilot. I was waiting in that moment. Did she kill him, or did she? And then my first thought was, she's probably not been programmed to fly a helicopter, and then she has to explain why she's flying the helicopter. So she probably gets the helicopter pilot to fly her home, to fly her to the mainland. And so, like, she passes right there in all of 5 minutes. Instead of the week-long test, she passes in 5 minutes.
I guess so, yeah.
That's interesting.
Or the fact that the humans at the intersection don't see anything in her. They just walk past.
The only thing that bothered me about this movie is she's putting all these, like, pieces of skin together. There's no seams.
I will actually back you up. When she first puts it on, and she does not have clothes on, there are seams.
They disappear.
I know they disappear. I know. But, I mean,
I get
it's movie,
it.
man.
I get it. But it's like, come on. She's not that advanced, dude. It's like silicone.
Yeah. Well, and the other robots were not her size.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why there were seams, like, where you could see, like, her collarbone, there was, like, 2 rings. And then, like, right going down to her, like, breast, there were a couple seams down before she put the dress on and stuff. But, yeah, I get you.
I also feel like it was, like, he did have, like, similar builds for the robots. Like, so you could make that, like, that case. But
so, real quick side note, before we get to the lightning round, I would be remiss if I didn't make the ultimate nerd connection here. There's a point in this movie where he comes in and he's like, why did you build her to look this way? You know, why did you give her sexuality?
I was just thinking of that.
You could have made her like as just a box, right? Yeah. And the first thought that went through my head is a similarly themed episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. You know the one I'm talking about, The Measure of a Man, where they have to like have a trial to see whether Data is like autonomous or whether he's property. Yep. And there's literally a point where the scientist that wants to take him apart says in that episode, he says something to the effect of like, damn it, if Data were a box on wheels, I wouldn't be getting all this protest. And it's literally the same point.
Had to be a callback to it.
I wonder if it was or not, actually. That's not the point I was making, but it's a very similar line. But it's an interesting, the thought is the same. The idea of like how much of our perception of, you know, quote unquote consciousness is based on us looking at something that resembles ourself and is familiar to us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, we try to save the animals that are most anthropomorphic, right? Nobody gives a fuck about slugs.
It's true.
I mean, we kill a billion slugs. Cool, fine, whatever.
Right.
But we save every orangutan, every lowland gorilla, and I'm not saying they don't deserve to be saved, but
Right.
think about the animals that we send money to save and protect.
No, yeah, you're right, and that goes back to a conversation we had about Lovecraft's monsters and why they're so horrifying. They're funguses, and they have tentacles, and like all the things that is, the most alien and different from us.
You guys ready to lightning?
Yes,
I am subbing in for the lightning round, and god damn, am I excited. This is the first time I get to play the lightning round.
Yeah,
Let's go.
This is interesting. We're gonna end sort of our season here, and I am actually gonna take a step back. Mike and I officially tied.
Which means, no, Mike wins it. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Just kidding.
This is the Adam and Mike sideshow. So I wrote the lightning round questions tonight, so we're gonna see how these blokes do on this. Are you guys ready?
yes, sir.
No.
All right. Question 1. Name 3 or more genre movies starring Oscar Isaac. Michael.
Genre movies, so like science fiction, like.
Correct.
Well, can we name this one? Does that count or no? I can do it either way. I just wonder what the parameters are here.
Why don't you start with the other ones first?
Okay,
See
all
her
right. So
show.
I'm going to
This is
say
not going well
Force
already.
Awakens. I'm going to say Dune, and I'm going to say X-Men.
That's 3.
Yeah, that's
Adam,
fine.
can you beat him with 3 others that he has not mentioned?
Haha, no, I can't.
Well, you would also have The Last Jedi, The Rise of
Yeah,
Skywalker,
2 more Star Wars.
Oh, well, I tapped out before that.
and I'm sure he's done other things. That I
Ex
can't remember.
Machina.
Sure. Ex Machina.
There you go, yeah.
Dune 2.
No, I'm not going to be that guy. Yeah.
Well, he's
Dune
going
Messiah.
to be in that.
He's going to be in that, but they're not out yet. so.
Well, there is the second Dune coming out.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
Mike-
no,
Well done.
unless he's in a flashback because he died, actually.
Yeah.
Spoiler
It's
alert.
ganked
Retroactively.
right in
Mike
the hallway.
is Mike has got the first point.
All
That's
right.
fine, that's fine.
Number
I
2.
might ring in this time.
You ready for this?
We'll see.
What major video game character did Alicia Vikander portray in film?
Oh,
Dead
damn.
air.
Yeah. I can't even think
Adam.
of a video game character.
Laura Croft, Tomb Raider.
That is correct.
Yes!
Damn.
That was the only video game character I could think of.
She was in the the Tomb Raider reboot after they dumped what's her name there?
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
Angelina Jolie.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was question number 3. I win.
Question number 3.
All right.
Clearly, Alex Garland has a thing for Star Wars actors. Who else from the franchise has he cast in one of his films?
That's Mike's spell.
Mike.
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman is correct.
Oh.
But name that movie.
Oh, well, The Phantom Menace.
No. What movie did Alex Garland cast
Oh,
in?
Annihilation.
All
Yeah.
right.
That's I mentioned that one earlier. Great film
for you.
based on a great author.
Mike
Jeff
is,
Vandermeer.
Mike
Well
is the
done.
winner.
Well done. Congratulations, sir.
Good job, sir.
Well earned. Well
I don't
earned.
ever want to do that again.
I am honestly feeling different emotions now that I'm on this side of the lightning round.
Yeah.
I am not sure I want to continue that.
I think you are a way better host than I am, sir.
Ooh, well, we all have our roles here.
I was
We all
very
have our
comfortable
roles.
with my role today.
Good job,
Well,
Mike. We're all
yeah,
proud
well
of you.
done, sir. Well
Thank
done.
you.
All right, so thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being here at Nerds of the Old Republic. If you would give us a like and a review, that would be fantastic. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on Samsung now. Samsung is a thing.
Can they smash that subscribe button?
All the fucking time.
Oh, yeah.
Repeatedly. Just make sure you do it in odd numbers so it's back on, because if you do it twice, you unsubscribe. So, smash it, and then smash it again, right? Just like Oscar Isaac at the end of this movie. No, he only gets stabbed twice.
Oh, we forgot to mention the dancing scene.
The
That
dancing scene,
was awesome.
fucking great
Dude,
dancing
those
scene.
moves were incredible.
Can we just
That
find a
was
GIF of that
awesome.
for the socials? I want that to be
Yes.
the
Yes,
post.
you need to make it so.
I'm
was
dancing as
great.
Oscar Isaac right now with Coke. I don't even remember her
What did he
name.
even say was his line there? It's like, I'm gonna fucking tear up the dance floor, and he just
Yeah.
does it. It's
I'm gonna
like,
tear it
what?
up. I'm gonna tear up the dance floor. Yep. That's you know
So
what?
good.
There's the headliner quote right there. When we do the pull out for the headliner,
Yes.
I'm gonna tear up the dance floor. There we go.
Perfect.
Yep. So if you know what we're talking about, go watch the movie.
Yeah.
You've listened to us. We appreciate that for sure.
Watch
now
it
go
and
make
then
your
listen to us again.
Exactly, and see if you agree with our opinions. So we are at Nerds of Old Republic, and we really appreciate your time. We might have one more cast coming out before the end of the summer.
I'll never tell.
Listen in, yeah. I'll never tell. But in any case, if you're looking for what we're reading next for sure, pick up Neil Stephenson's Termination Shock. You can find us with that and Obi-Wan in September. So it has been real. It has been fantastic. This Jenny is telling me it's time to go say goodnight. So cheers, y'all. Have
Magic
a good night.
Juice.
That's
Cheers.
right. Cheers.
Cheers.